Okay, just waiting for everything to start and load because I know it always takes a little while for all of that. But hello, hello, everyone who is slowly starting to join because, like I said before, it always takes a little bit of time to load everything up. We are going to be doing some reading sprints today. Um, it's also good if you're doing productivity or anything else that you guys want to do. I've had people do like thumbnail stuff, like creative stuff while they're here as well, which is always good. I am like not entirely sure what I'm going to read. Hello, hello. Yeah. Okay, yeah, we will be starting some sprints soon. I know you said it's like 1 a.m. there, so like thank you for joining us since you're still awake. And hello to you as well. Everybody's starting to show up. But yeah, we're going to be doing some reading sprints. I have no idea what I'm going to read. And the thing is, I had a huge TBR, like during my TBR game this month. I had to roll 6 times and then I added another one. So I had to do 7 books, plus it's magical readathon, so I had to add an extra one for that didn't get picked. I think I've read 2 books off of that, like, list, and, some of them were DNFs that then I added a different book in for. I've just been not been picking up my TBR books very much, like, at all. I've still been sort of reading things, like, I've currently gotten through, like, on my stats, 11 books for the month. 2 of those were DNFs, though, so we're, like, at 9, and then 6 of those 9 were manga. So, it's a 30 and 30 manga challenge month as well. I don't think I'm gonna hit 30 and 30, but I have been reading them more because I also bought a lot last month because it was buy one, get one half off at Barnes& and Noble. But yeah, I've just not been picking up some of my TBR stuff. I am in the middle of one ebook that I probably won't read here just because I don't usually have all of my e-reader stuff for this kind of stuff. And then I am doing an audiobook in my car as well that will eventually get me into a TBR book. But I've just been like really slacking on it. So I have a couple options for today. Um, One is a TBR book. It was the poll pick for this month, which is A Tournament of Crowns by Elise Kova. It's the third book in a YA fantasy series with elemental magic. And this one's supposed to have like some sort of like tournament, like an actual magical competition, which I love. So I think that is one that I'm going to get into. But I think I might start with a manga because I know I've been consistently reading manga this month, which is good. I have My Love Mix Up by Wataru Hinekure. This one is the beginning of a series that is going to be like YA romance sort of stuff, but it should be LGBTQ. And it's like one of the boys borrows an eraser from a female classmate, and it has like a different boy's name with like a heart around it. And the other guy thinks that he has a crush on him, but then apparently it does turn into a romance in that direction, so I'm very curious about that one, and so I've had it on my radar for a while. I think I might start with the manga to, like, jumpstart me into some reading, because, yeah, I've been not the best about reading lately this month. Not sure if you're starting Gear Breakers or going to continue The Iron Raven by Julie Kagawa or Daughter of the Moon Goddess. May do just a few chapters of each. I mean, that's great too. Yeah, this is one of the months currently that I'm in where I'm reading multiple things at once. I don't always do that. I want to read Gear Breakers, and I loved the beginning of the Iron Face series by Julie Kagawa, but I have not read the new ones. So I'm very curious to see what you think of those. Ooh, Saga. Yes, we are doing very well this evening so far. I love Saga. I'm very excited that you're going to be reading Saga. So yeah, you're getting into the thick of it. I think volume 7 was around where I stopped before they went on hiatus, and then I'm caught up currently. So yes, yes. Going to put the kids to bed. Yeah, go put the kids to bed. Come back if you want to. King of Scars been on shelf since release date. Yeah, I have quite a few books that have been on shelves since release date. We're not going to judge. at all. And once get to bed, read City of Ashes. Yay! I know you posted a poll or something about like which one you should read next of different stuff, and I definitely voted for you to read City of Ashes because I need you. I need you to read that series. So very good. I think that sounds like a lot of good books that you guys are potentially reading. But since I know for a fact somebody is up past 1 a.m. right now, let's jump into a reading sprint. Get started for me with this one. And let's read for like 20 minutes to get us into it, which means on my end, it's going to be like 5:27 probably by the time we finish. So I'll let everybody just read until 27. Some good reading in, and let's do that. I'm muted. I was muted. We're back. I was just saying that we are back from our first reading sprint, and I have just a bit left, just a bit. So I think I'm going to put it down for now. Am I still muted, or was that just, did I fix it? I know you guys are a little bit behind me. Oh, wait. Am I good? Am I not good? Okay, I'm good. I'm good. It's always a little bit of a delay on here too, and so like I realized it, but yes, no. Almost all the way done with the manga, and I really am liking it. Really enjoying it. Some parts are quite funny. The art style is very, very cute. Like really, really adorable. Like a very nice art style. I'm sometimes very picky with the art style in manga, but there have been some times where the art style changes a little bit because of like the tone that they're going for and makes it funnier. But there have been some parts that I really almost giggled out loud at or like smiled for sure. Um, and I'm going to finish it. I'm going to finish it next for sure. But like I'm so close. Um, it is something that I think I'm really, really enjoying. I'm very curious to see how this like last little bit is going to go. But as I mentioned at the very beginning here, my understanding of it was pretty on point. One of our characters, Aoki, borrowed an eraser from the girl that was sitting next to him, who is actually his crush, and her eraser had Ida's name on it with a heart. And so Ida saw that Aoki had it and thought that Aoki had a crush on him, whereas the girl that Aoki has a crush on also has a crush on Ida. But there's been a lot of sort of like they haven't been able to clear up the misunderstanding very much. And you can actually sort of see both boys now questioning, do they actually like each other? Like, are they actually really developing feelings for each other instead just because this mix up keeps happening? So far it is very, very cute. Uh, okay, started Gear Baker so far. Already loving it. 5-star feel. Ooh, okay, that's very nice. I like it when you can sort of, and again, ratings can change as you read, but I like it when it starts off so well. 13 tabs in the first 22 pages. I am not a very big annotator with reading, so I don't actually know if that's really, really good, but it feels like a lot. So I'm actually happy about that for you, especially since Gear Breakers is one that I've had my eye on. I just don't have a copy to like read. Didn't get very far, but Angsty Jace is making me annoyed. Yeah, I will say, so I read the Mortal Instruments series back when they were coming out. So the first one came out, I wanna say it was, like, 2007? Like, I wanna say it was, like, the very beginning of, like, my senior year of high school, and I've always been like, Simon was my favorite character. So, the whole Jace, Clary, angsty, will they, won't they, all this kinda stuff is just, like, not my favorite. I know a lot of people like him and all this kind of thing, but uh, Simon was my favorite character. For especially like the first 3 books. Um, I was always really happy like when he was in the story plot line. So angsty Jace, yeah, not my favorite. Started volume 8 of Sandman. That's the one that's by Neil Gaiman and stuff like that. I've never read those ones. I've read other Neil Gaiman and Neil Gaiman comics, and I've seen, did I ever finish that show? I've seen most of that show at least. I'm really bad about finishing series and finishing TV shows. But hopefully, I mean, you're on volume 8 of Sandman, so hopefully you're really enjoying it. Normally have 4 to 5 tabs. Okay. Yeah, 13 does sound like quite a bit, but I mean, that's a good thing. If you're finding things that you're really enjoying about it, that's great. Yeah, so really enjoying the manga, and I'm definitely going to finish it when we get into the next reading sprint, which we will do very, very soon. because yeah, I'm just basically reading things that are not on my TBR. And so, yeah, I think I have the first 4 volumes of My Love Mix-Up, so if I'm really enjoying it, which so far I am, I will probably end up finishing the rest of them by the end of the month at least. So that's getting books off my TBR. It's just not like the TBR books that I should be doing. You watch the show and love Raphael. Okay, I will say I've not finished Shadowhunters because horrible about finishing shows. Um, First season is very different, obviously, than the books. They slowly start to get a little bit closer, even though they've changed quite a bit of like character arcs and like what jobs they have and stuff like that. But I also love Raphael in the books. Like everything that does in the books too. I really do enjoy him as a character. So I think if you like him in the show, it might be a little bit different still. It's been a while since I've watched any of that, but I'm hoping that you still like him in the books because I really liked him in the books too. Halfway done with Saga 7, do have 8 and 9 on deck. And then Empress of Salt and Fortune. I need to read Empress of Salt and Fortune. I think I have it as an ebook. I will say, if you have Saga Volume 9, once you read that, you're either going to want to immediately jump into volume 10 or you're going to want to take a break. I feel like those are the two like you'll have to see how it feels for you once you get there, but that it's either you're going to have to immediately jump into the next one or you're going to be like I need to take a little bit of a break before I get to volume 10 because that's where they hit that hiatus. And so yeah, I think I actually stopped at like volume 7 before the hiatus because I knew excuse me, I didn't wanna, like, continue volume 9 and not have anything, but it still took me a little bit of time from volume 9 to volume 10. Okay, yeah. I love Saga, though. Saga is one of those, like, classic booktube graphic novel comic stuff. Okay, so I think as long as everybody's okay with it, we're going to jump into another reading sprint. And I'm going to finish this manga, but I'm also going to throw dinner in the oven while we're doing this so that when I'm eventually done with reading sprints, we have food. So let's do let's do like a 30-minute reading sprint as long as everybody's okay with that. Um, so I'll read until 06. Yeah. Okay. And so we are back from that 30-minute sprint. Um, Looks like you're probably going to be going to bed soon, which is fine. So let me know where you guys are if you want to share anything, where you got up to. I did end up finishing. Um, my love mix up. And I will say I'm going to give this volume 5 stars. The last few pages that I didn't get to finish during the first sprint that I then finished had another sort of like mix up thing happen that I feel like just tied it all together really, really well. So I definitely want to continue with this series so far. If you like manga, especially like romance and stuff like that, it is like a YA romance sort of thing. I thought it was really cute. So yes, that was great. And then I did end up starting A Tournament of Crowns by Elise Kova. This one thing I will say about this, because I'm not going to be able to go into it too much in detail because it is the third book in a series. But one thing that I forgot this author does until I was starting the book is she has her own website, and it has like a thing of like, if you need to know what happened last time, go here, and it has like a whole summary. So I actually was reading through that before I started this one, because there was a lot of detail in that I had forgotten. So I'm glad I did that. But I mean, I almost feel like a lot of books should be like, hey, do you need to remember what happened? Because it's been like a year or so since you probably read the last one. So I really did enjoy that. I'm currently 24 pages into this one. It is a YA fantasy, so it's going to be a pretty quick read in general. And so far, I'm liking it. I mean, I'm only 20 something pages in, but the humor of some of the stuff, like the relationships and friendships, my headphones don't like to stay on if I'm not actually actively listening to something. Um, but the like friendships and stuff, the stuff that we've gotten in the 20 something pages are as good as I remember. So I'm very curious about this. They're traveling to like where they're going to do the magical competition stuff, which is one of my favorite tropes. So I have high hopes for that one. Made it 23 pages in. That's great. And another 23 pages. 45 pages in the sprints. Yeah, not a bad start to your day or end because you haven't slept yet. Yeah, I mean, it's definitely past midnight for you, so it could be the beginning of your day, but you probably need to go to bed. So take it how you will. But that's great. So thank you for joining me because I know you're probably going to be going soon. Thought about doing a video series that aimed to be 5 to 10 minute recaps of books. That could be a very good thing. I know that there's some websites that do that every so often, but like I think you almost have to hope that your book is going to be there. And so the fact that I know this author specifically writes her own recaps for her books, like she's an indie author. I think that helps a little bit just because she can do that. She can go through and be like, here's my website, here's my recap, here's all the stuff. That's also why I have, like, a really, really pretty hardcover, like, dust jacket comes off and it's still gorgeous, because it's an indie author. Um, but that would probably be very helpful, especially with, like, the books that you don't necessarily see on those websites as much. Yes, I was so happy that you got to join, but yeah, go to bed. It's past midnight for you. Go to sleep. 30-ish pages before bed, but we'll probably go further. I mean, we're gonna do probably, like, one more reading sprint, um, soon, just because I have a little bit more time before it's like actually dinner time. So we are going to definitely be doing that. Double checking on dinner stuff. But yeah, so we're probably going to be doing a little bit more because I will have a little bit more time before like I have to be like, oh, we got to stop, got to have dinner, all that kind of stuff. Um, Presley had his first day of OT, which is like occupational therapy today. So I did get a little bit of reading Reading. It is reading, but, I listen to an audiobook. I'm really, really bad about listening to audiobooks, but I find that if I'm driving, it's a little bit easier to actually do that, and I'm currently rereading The Aurora Cycle by Amy Kaufman and Jay Kristoff, because I have here Aurora's End, which is on my TBR for the month. That it's the last book in a series. Ren from the Reading Ren picked this out for me to read because it was, oh, this was the Patreon pick. This was the Patreon pick that I went onto my Patreon and Discord and was like, hey, I'm doing my TBR game. Give me a book I need to read. And this is the one that I picked. But it has been so long, I feel like, since I've read that series that I want to reread them, which means I am doing some reading, but it's not like my TBR stuff. Um, but I've been doing it on audiobook. I've been doing it in the car because we got a new car recently, and so we have Apple CarPlay available, so I can put things on like that and don't have to like worry about that. I've also been listening to it a little bit when I'm playing certain like video games at night on my phone, and so that's definitely been helping. But Presley now has like a standing OT appointment um, that's like 40 minutes away. So every week, once a week, I'm going to have to be driving him to and from that. So that'll get some audiobook reading done, which is good. I do need to get some more stuff like that done. But for now, I think we're going to be jumping back into a Tournament of Crowns because that's the one that I have here. Audiobooks when folding laundry. I feel like that would probably be a good thing. Like those sort of like easy mindless, I mean, and maybe not necessarily like mindless, but like those kind of tasks. I find them a little bit harder to do currently with the kids because you have to have like headphones or the earbuds and that kind of stuff. And then like it just feels like so much stuff is coming at me at once and I'm trying to listen. But the car, I don't know, something about being in the car on a car ride where like I'm driving, I'm still 100% focused on the road and everything, but I don't feel like I have to do anything else like with my ears. Like usually it's either music or an audiobook. And actually Presley had speech therapy back in 2021 at the exact same place. So again, like 40-minute drives there and back. Um, and no lie, I listened to Ice Planet Barbarians on the drives there. One, he was 1.5. Like he was like no, yeah, 1.5 to like past 2. He was there for almost a year. So he didn't know what was going on. But also it was during nap time. Like the drive was during nap time and then we would get there and do his thing. And so I can't do that anymore. So I found obviously the Aurora cycle that I need to do anyway. I figure YA fantasy or sci-fi is probably a good audiobook thing when you have an almost 4-year-old in the car who might be listening to stuff. Although he also fell asleep on the way to OT today anyway, even though he doesn't really nap anymore. So, you know, that's a thing. We're going to be starting another reading sprint. It is about 6:15 here. So I think what we'll do is a 20-minute reading sprint and then we'll do a check-in before I probably need to like finish up to do dinner things. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to go until 35. Are you watching planets? Okay, we are back from, I think, our last reading sprint because it is just about time for me to go finish up in the kitchen. Presley's watching planet and solar system videos on YouTube. That's his new obsession right now, um, which is great. He knows how many dwarf planets are in our solar system, how many moons Pluto has, all this good stuff. He was talking about how Mercury takes like 88 days to orbit the sun earlier today. So too smart for his own good. I made it to page 54 in a Tournament of Crowns. Um, and so, yeah, basically everything that I was saying before is what I feel like. The friendships and stuff, the things that I remember really liking about books 1 and 2, are still there, still really fun. We are getting to like the very beginning of like the opening ceremony sort of stuff because of the fact that they are going to have magical trials in here. The first book also had magical trials that I really, really enjoyed. It had some twisty turny moments, so I'm sort of expecting similar things from this one. Book 2 had a little bit more like conspiracy, scheming, plotting things that I wasn't as thrilled with. Like I think I gave that one a 4 instead of a 5 just because of the fact that it didn't have magical trials and like that's sort of what I was here for. But I do like the characters. I did still like all the friendships and that kind of stuff. It is a fantasy romance series as well, even though it is YA, so there is some romance under notes of it. It's not a major plot point, but it is there as well. So it's going well so far, which is always good. Ooh, 19 pages left of your saga. Well, that is definitely doable. Thank you for joining and doing some reading sprints. Saga is like one of my favorite comic series, so I hope you're really enjoying it. Feel free if you ever come back for reading sprints or even any of my other videos. If you ever finish like Saga 9, let me know what you think because I'm always curious about that kind of stuff. It's a big one. So anybody else want to talk about where they got to or not? 100% up to you guys. I think I've read 3 different books today, but I'm also doing a buddy read with Heather. I don't think Heather has like a booktube channel. I could be mistaken. Um that I have not read today yet, so I need to do that. Oh, yes. The author is Elise Kova. I can put it in the description, like you mentioned. I can put everything in there. This is an indie author, which she has a bunch of different series. I think they're pretty much all fantasy, but like some are fantasy romance, some are just fantasy, some are YA, and some are adult. Like she does have a lot of variation. I have not read all of her stuff. My headphones. I There has to be an option to be like, I'm not listening to anything, but don't turn off. Um, but she has a lot of variation between her series, and so I've really, really, really been enjoying this one. And then I have the Air Awaken series, which is I'm backwards right here. This one here, this is like a bookish box special edition version or something like that. That's another YA fantasy that's like more one of her first ones. I haven't read those yet, but like I saw really, really pretty covers and I was like, I have to have them. Have to have them. Um, so I will get those to those eventually because that's actually a prequel series to this one, or I guess this is a sequel series to that one. Um, but yeah, I like her work a lot. So yeah, I'll put all the books that I was like reading and talking about in the description for like anybody else that is joining in the future. But otherwise, it is going to be about time for me to finish up dinner stuff. It's like 6:40 here, and then after that, it's bath time for the kids and putting them to bed. Excuse me. And then, like I said, I'm also doing a buddy read that I'm going to have to read tonight as well. I've read like 4 things today, which is actually quite good for me. So just look them up free on Kindle Unlimited. I have Kindle Unlimited. I don't think I've ever read one of her books on Kindle Unlimited, but it does not surprise me. I find a lot of good indie, especially like indie romance or indie fantasy, that kind of stuff. A lot of them have it on Kindle Unlimited. So if you have that, that's always a great option. And you don't have to start in order. So like this series starts with which one does it start with? Right here. I have it down here because it was in one of my latest videos. I talked about it. A Trial of Sorcerers is the first book in this series. It's technically a sequel series to the Air Awakens series, and that's also the first book of that is Air Awakens. But the characters that like show up from that are really just like small cameo appearances. So you can read it in any order. And so I started with this one as like in this world. And I really, really loved that one. So I'm hoping this one is another like 5-star read because of the fact that we are getting magical competition stuff. So I think that's going to be it for today. Thank you so much for everybody that has joined me. I do reading sprints every third Tuesday of the month. So the next time that we will be having reading sprints, I think is around, yeah, the 16th of May will be the next one. It's a little bit earlier. Sometimes it feels like that it's around the 20th, sometimes it's not. 16th of May, we will have more reading sprints. So just thank you so much for keeping me accountable, basically, for reading, because sometimes I need that. And yeah, that is going to be it for today. I will have a new actual like video up on Thursday. And I guess that's going to be it. We're going to go do dinner. So bye, guys.